Hey friends, welcome back to the Procrastination Solution Podcast, where we get real about what's holding you back and how to move forward with purpose, clarity, and a solid plan for success. I am your host, Nilo, and I help women just like yourself overcome procrastination for good so you can finally achieve the goals that matter most to you. So today we are talking about a sneaky culprit behind procrastination that shows up in the most innocent disguise, and that is indecision. Today's topic or today's title is Stop Overthinking and Just Go, and indecision is what keeps us from taking action, right? So if you've ever found yourself circling around a choice, weighing pros and cons, maybe even researching just a little more before you start, this episode is for you. So let's talk about why indecision feeds procrastination. Indecision feels like you're doing something, you're thinking, you're considering, you're being thorough, but the truth is you're delaying action. We aren't sure. When we aren't sure what the right decision is, we freeze, right? We delay, we scroll, we tweak the plans, just one more time. This is actually called decision paralysis or analysis paralysis. And it's a productivity killer. Now, neuroscientists have found that the brain's prefrontal cortex, the one responsible for making decisions and setting goals, gets overwhelmed when faced with too many choices. This mental fatigue leads us to the default, which is inaction. So the truth is that overthinking isn't always wisdom, it's resistance in disguise. And we're not, let me just stop and say, I'm not asking you to make decisions quickly when it comes to really big decisions, like, where you want to live, for example, if you want to move from where you are to a different home or a different area altogether, who you're marrying, or, the colors that you're choosing. Those things do also need you to research and do things and make decisions quickly, but that's a whole other podcast. I feel like I can go off on a tangent on that, but what I'm talking about is when we are being indecisive about the action that we need to take on our goals. Like whatever goal you have, if your goal is to wake up, be an early morning riser, if your goal is to become healthier, if your goal is to go out and spend more time with your friends, or make new friends, or, date, quality people, or your goal could literally be anything, like finishing your degree, making sure that you are, an action taker, somebody who does what she says and says what she does, right? Procrastination is, shows up in every single area of our life. And most of the time it shows up in some of these, what we think might be smaller areas, like making sure that our space is not cluttered, making sure that we get, projects for work and home done on time. So that's when indecision comes in and it feeds procrastination. Okay. So I'm not asking you to make, rash decision when it comes to really big, massive, life-changing things like getting married or having children or not, or having another child, or, moving, or, the college that you want to attend. I'm talking about other goals that are not so massively big, right? So let me get back to the notes for this particular podcast. So there are multiple ways to address indecision, but I want you to understand why you might be procrastinating sometimes, right? It might be because you are stuck in the indecision loop, which is you can't decide on something, so you don't do it. And then you don't do it because you can't decide, so you don't do it at all. And that just goes round and round. Like imagine, thinking paint color for your living room or your kitchen. You can't decide what paint color you want to go with, so you just sort of like do all these research, you get paint, swatches, you try to figure out what decor might go with a certain paint. And then if you're not making that decision, then you're just stuck. Like, then that project does not move forward. And you have to ask yourself if you are really confused about what to do next, or are you afraid to make a move in either direction? All right. Oftentimes, fear of regret or fear of making the wrong decision will lead us to hide in the illusion of, I'm figuring it out. I'm working on it. I'm taking my time to decide what paint color, I want to choose for the living room, right? But here's what I want you to know. Clarity comes from action, not from thought. You don't need the perfect plan. You need to take one step and learn from it and then adjust your plans, right? So going with the painting your living room theme, if you buy a certain color and you paint one wall, you're probably going to get a better idea of whether you like that color, versus getting a small sample of it and then painting maybe like a little space and then thinking, I don't know if I want to go with this or a different color, right? And I think we also want to never have any problems in the future when we make decisions. For example, if you're trying to start a business, you are thinking endlessly on what you should do, but you haven't yet started that business because you think there is a perfect idea out there with a perfect marketing plan that will, bring in endless number of clients and money, and you'll never have any significant problems, right? When the truth is, there is no such thing as perfection. There is the start button and the pause button and then the redirection button. And that's it. You are sitting at the starting line and you haven't yet taken a step forward in any direction. That's what indecision does to us and our goals, right? That's where we procrastinate on moving forward on our goals because we can't decide, right? So we're sort of like stuck in this place at the starting line. So here are 3 facts I want to share with you about breaking out of indecision, okay? So number 1, you can't think your way into certainty. You have to act your way into certainty. You have to act your way into clarity. Most of what you're afraid of is just a guess your brain is making, right? That's it. You won't know what works until you move. So imagine sitting at the starting line you think that there's a perfect decision that you can make right now, that whatever comes in the future will be automatically perfect because of that first decision you made, if that makes sense, right? So imagine, but that's not how it works. Because you're going to have to make decisions over and over and over again along this journey, no matter what your goal is, right? Like along the way, you have to make decisions over and over and over again and change things and make a slightly different decision. And okay, so number 2 is there is no perfect choice. Perfection is often the root of indecision. We want to make sure we choose perfectly, so that's why we're not deciding right now, because we think that the decision that we are most leaning towards might not be the perfect one, right? But done is better than perfect. B minus work is perfect. Choose something, try it, and let reality give you feedback. Okay? Let time and the results of your actions moving forward give you feedback. Because right now you're not getting any feedback on any goal. It doesn't matter if that is, putting together the perfect gift for your parents' anniversary, or if that is, choosing a new career path, or if that is choosing, which paint color to paint your living room. You're not getting any feedback. You're just sitting at the starting line. You have not started because of indecision, right? So, and then number 3 is every step is a step forward. Even the wrong, what you think, quote unquote, is wrong, even the wrong step teaches you something you didn't know before. That's progress. It's just feedback, right? So what I want you to do for today is, this is a Momentum Monday episode. So what I want you to do today is pick the one thing you've been spinning in your head about. What is it that you've been spinning about? Right? Maybe you are a business owner. Maybe it's launching an offer and you're thinking, is this the right offer? Is this, what am I going to get as a result of this? Do I have the perfect marketing plan for it? Maybe it is reaching out to a client, in your current job, working for somebody else. And you are not doing it for some reason. You are procrastinating. You're in this space of indecision, right? Maybe it's something as simple as meal prepping for the week. You don't know what things to prep for this week. You don't know what items you have in your pantry, in your refrigerator, right? Or maybe it is working on on a paper for school. Maybe you have to choose a topic to write your draft for the end of the semester. Right now we're in July, and I know that the college where I teach, school is going to be ending for the summer semester in just a couple of weeks. So we have final exams coming, we got final papers coming, and so if you've known about, you have to choose a topic for a paper or a research paper or some other project, maybe you're sitting there deciding between which topic is going to be the perfect topic, which is going to earn me an A. But the truth is, any topic will earn you an A, right? If you choose one and you research it, you follow the assignments and you move forward with it. But right now, you are sitting in this place of indecision. You're not taking any actions forward, right? So pick one thing that you've been spinning over in your head and just do it. What is the first step for that one thing? And just do it, right? Whatever it is, make the call. Just decide. Set a 20-minute timer, right? Take the first step. Your momentum will come from movement, not from thinking, right? Not from thinking about it endlessly. And even if you think you're not thinking about it, your brain is thinking about it. It's like that open tab that's taking up, data. It's taking up energy from your computer, or, when you have too many tabs running and, your computer is running slow. I don't know all of the computer language, but if you want to make sure, like sometimes when I'm running Lightroom on my computer to edit photos, and I've got all these different tabs, my Lightroom will be going slow. So I have to close the internet. I have to close all the other apps that I'm not using in order to sort of speed it up, and delete things from my trash box. And that's what you're doing to your brain, right? When you are not making a decision on something and then you are distracting your brain with something else. Like it might be TV, it might be hanging out with friends, it might be working on a whole other project that may not be like priority right now. It might be anything really. But the idea is you're trying to escape making a decision from the thing that requires your attention right now. Okay? So take that first step and just go. Stop overthinking about it and just move forward, right? So I've got some, I'm just thinking of some questions that might have come up for you as you were listening for these, to this podcast. And I've got some questions here for you. You might have been thinking, why do I overthink so much before starting anything, right? Why do we overthink at all? And that is because our brain is trying to protect us from making the wrong decision, right? Clarity doesn't come from thinking, it comes from action. We don't want to make the wrong decision. We don't know what the future is, but it's easy for our brain to assume that it's negative. It's easy for us to assume it's negative. It's really hard for us to assume things will work out. Our brain defaults to negative. Why? Because then we won't have to do anything right now, and then we're conserving our energy, we're conserving our resources, and we are in our comfort zone, right? But if you actually decide something and you go out and do it, you actually have to produce the mental and physical energy to move forward with this action. And like, imagine stepping out of the front door, but not knowing if there's a step there or not. That's what our brain is sort of thinking. It's thinking this is catastrophic. We cannot make a decision. If we do, there might be like this big bad wolf waiting to devour us. But that the truth is that the only way that you're going to know, if there's a step is if you actually put your foot down, if you move forward. Right? It sounds scary, but the more action you take, the more steps you take forward, the less scary it becomes. Right? We dread, last week I recorded an episode on dread. We dread doing the thing more than if we actually were doing it, even if it was difficult. Right? So our brains overthink because it's trying to protect us from making, what it thinks is the wrong decision. Okay. All right. Number 2, what if I make the wrong decision? Okay. So there are very few wrong decisions. Like if you actually stop and think about it, there are very few like horrible, catastrophic decisions, like consequences that will have like massive impact on our lives. If you choose, let's just say you chose the wrong university for whatever reason. After the first semester, if you find out this was the wrong university, you can still transfer. You can still apply to another school and get into another school, right? If you are, you have a marketing plan that you're going forward with for your business, if you give it time, you give it 6 months and it's not working, you choose another marketing plan and you move forward with that, right? If you go on a weight loss journey and the first, few weeks are not working out for you, and I know that, like, to me, my brain has always said, oh, this diet is the wrong one. Let me go with a different diet. This diet is the wrong one. But that's a little bit, more involved because we are constantly going back to our comfort level, right? So sometimes we might make something the wrong choice or the wrong decision because we're just not moving forward with it, right? My coach, Brooke, says there is no wrong diet. Every diet will help you lose weight, right? As long as you stick with it long enough. Now, different things work for different people, but the idea is that action gets you result. Action on any path for long enough gets you result, right? So if you're afraid that you're going to make the wrong decision, really step back and think about it, from a different perspective. Like, what wrong decision are you really afraid of? Whatever results you get for your decision, it's simply feedback. And you can adjust your plans based on feedback, right? Every step you take teaches you something useful. And if you think about it from that point of view, you are less likely to be afraid of the consequences of your decisions. Okay, give it a try. Another question you might have been thinking is, I'm scared I'll waste time on energy, right? So indecision is already wasting time. It's really funny when we do that. We're not taking action because we're thinking if I take action on something, it might be the wrong thing, and then I'll have wasted that time. But the fact that you're not taking action and you're stuck in indecision is a waste of time. So you're better off taking imperfect action than none at all. B- work is still, C work is still better than not having anything, not having worked on anything, right? Another question you might be thinking about is, what's a quick way to break out of indecision? So a quick way to break out is to set yourself a timer, right? Set a timer, 20 minutes, and take one small action. It will disrupt the overthinking loop. That's it. You give yourself no choice. You go. Right? That's the whole point of the podcast. You stop overthinking, you pick something, and you go. Set yourself a timer. If you can only stand to do it for 10 minutes, do it for 10 minutes. That will still achieve the goal of disrupting the overthinking loop, right, in our brain. Another question is overthinking always procrastination? And that's it really depends. I don't think it's always procrastination, but when your thinking replaces doing for long periods of time, then it becomes procrastination in disguise, right? There's one thing to like research something, whether that is, for example, weight loss. Everybody's different. Everybody's body is different. Our health is different. So if you're doing research in the form of going to your primary care, talking with your doctor about your goals of, weight loss, and then getting blood work done or following their recommendation, and then checking out like what might be a best option for you as far as different exercises go or different meal plans go. Those are all steps that you're taking. You're not just sitting at home thinking about what exercise plan should you go on. You're actually taking action. You're not really overthinking it. You're actually taking action. You're moving forward in the form of making an appointment with a professional, maybe considering, hiring a personal trainer, or, getting recommendations on different meal plans or things like that. But I know that when I went to my doctor, the first thing he recommended was, first of all, do a full body physical, right? We did that. We did the blood work. And then he said to go meet with a nutritionist, right? Somebody that takes my insurance, to go meet with a nutritionist. So is overthinking always procrastination? And the answer is no. When you are sitting there thinking about losing weight or thinking about getting in shape or getting healthier or whatever your goals are, that is procrastination. But when you're actually taking action, you're doing research through action, then that's not procrastination. You're actually moving forward with your goal. You're taking small steps, right, in preparation for your goal. It's like, I don't know why, but this analogy popped into my head. It's like if you're making a big meal, you have to like buy the groceries, and then you have to wash the vegetables and cut up everything and look up recipes, and then, in preparation for actually making the meal. And then making the meal, you might be making, like 2 or 3 different types of dishes, and then that requires time to make those things, and something might go wrong. You might need to go back to the store to get something else. Like, imagine all of that, equating that to achieving your goal. So along the way, you're going to take action, and then if something happens, you just, change your plans for that, or you adjust for that, and then you keep moving forward. You're not going to just stop making your meal, let's just say like a Thanksgiving meal, just because you ran out of, I don't know, onions or celery for something. You're not just going to say, forget it, I'm done. You're going to go and get your onions and your celery, and you're going to keep moving forward, right? So, is overthinking always procrastination? No. That's the short answer. All right, friends, I hope that this has been helpful for you. It's supposed to be a Momentum Monday episode, but I feel like it's more of like a Thursday mindset episode, which is fine. You can use it in both ways. But, if there's one thing that you need to work on, stop spinning about it, set yourself a timer, and take the first action towards that goal. That's it. Okay? Get out of the indecision loop by taking action. Okay? And if this episode sparked anything productive in you, I would love it if you can share it with a friend who needs to hear it as well. And don't forget to leave a review and follow and share the show. It helps me, share this message with more women to help them overcome their own procrastination loops. All right, friends, until next time, have an amazing week. I'll talk to you later. Bye.